In this episode of Republican Talks, we're going to be going through the Leah Thomas being rejected. We're going to look at the father and son who were recently brutally attacked at an LGBTQ rally, and we're going to be looking at Brian Hagan, the judge who let Bianca Ellis off. Stay tuned for this episode for more on that. Welcome to Republican Talk Show, everybody. I am your host, Kenneth Glenn, and today, before we get into this episode, I want to make a quick announcement. As we all know, Joe Biden has been against RFK, his political rival, for the last many, many years. He poses a legitimate threat to Biden's leadership and to his presidential prowess, and he is a legitimate threat when it comes to Biden. He's a legitimate threat. He could easily take Biden out of office. And since that's the case, Biden has been trying to suppress him. Not only did he reject him, he refused to let him have Secret Service protection after an assassination attempt, but he also isn't allowing him to debate. Regardless of your political views, whether or not you support RFK or if you think that he's a good candidate, he should be allowed to debate. And I could use your help, and he could also use your help. In the link in the description of this video, there is a petition link. Okay? So, this petition will allow RFK at the debates. Okay? Anyone who signs this petition and sends me proof on my Instagram, which is KenGlenn1776, I will give you a shout out in my next episode of Republican Talks. Now, on to the news for the day. But please, I would really appreciate it if you sign that petition, regardless of any political view you have, whether you or not you support RFK. You need to sign that petition. If you're an American, please sign that petition. Please. It'll take you 2 minutes. I just really want every American should sign that petition because it's truly unfair what Biden has done to RFK. Now, moving on to Brian Hagan. Pretty sure that's how you say it. I don't think it's Hagan. I think it's Hagan. So I'm just going to say Hagan. If I'm wrong, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong many more times throughout my life. I'm not scared of being wrong. So if you remember a few shows ago, the show a couple days ago, you would remember Bianca Ellis. She brutally murdered a 3-year-old who recently finished preschool, and she was smiling about it in court. Well, we got some recent reports that a judge who didn't convict her for crimes that she committed before has doubled down on his decision and said that if he could go back, he would have still made the decision to not punish her for the crime, even with hindsight, which is absolutely disgusting, and it calls into question our political system and our justice system altogether. An Ohio judge has defended his decision to release the woman accused of killing 3-year-old Julian Wood back on the streets just days before the brutal stabbing, despite a referral for mental health evaluation. Bianca Ellis, 32 years old, was arrested on May 29th for a parole violation related to shoplifting charge for stealing $69 worth of merchandise from a Walmart last year. She has faced the charges last month. A judge at the Rocky River Municipal Court noticed that she seemingly became unresponsive and ordered to be held for mental health evaluation according to records obtained by Fox 8. But Judge Brian Hagan instead released Ellis back into the community on May 31st. Just 3 days later, the police say Bianca stole a knife from a thrift store and followed Julian and his mother to the parking lot of the Giant Eagle grocery store in North Olmsted, Ohio. So this happened in Ohio. You know the memes. Not surprised that a judge like that is in Ohio. So she followed the mother to the parking lot where she fatally slashed the young boy in the face and neck and injured his mother. Still, Hagan said that he would not have done anything differently. Even now, knowing that Ellis is charged with aggravated murder for the death of a toddler. So he's literally doubled down on his decision, which is stupid. First of all, the justice system is so dumb in this country. This is the only country where I think that even if you're convicted with a crime, if you get the right judge, you're completely fine. Because, and not even like high-level people, like normal, like just your normal average Joe. Okay? And it's just sad. And there's many statistics out here saying that the crime has gone down since the 1980s. I argue that is not the case. There's no way that's the case, because if you see how much crime there is now, I think the real statistic is that crime hasn't gone down. It's just there's less crime being convicted. People are being convicted less for the crime that they commit. I think that's more of an accurate statement. And it's just so stupid. Judges should have to judge cases correctly. Okay? If the person is found guilty of a crime that they committed, they go to jail. That's how that should work. It's simple as that. If you're convicted, you get punished for that crime. If you did a crime, it shouldn't be whether or not you could have done something differently, like the Apple River stabbing trial, where the jury said that he didn't do anything illegal, but he should still go to jail for 90 years because he could have not been there. That was their main argument. No crime was committed, but he was still found guilty. Same thing with the jury of the Trump trial when Trump was being accused of rape. The jury said, yeah, there's no evidence that Trump raped the girl, but however, we're going to charge him anyway. Okay? The justice system sucks. Okay? But there's only one way to change it. It's me. I made a new series on my channel called Judged by Glenn, and I convict people of crimes that they have committed based on the evidence presented to me. So if you're interested in that, you can watch that. First episode is out now, and I'm going to make many more in the future. But no, the big problem with the justice system is that judges don't convict people. I think that it should be punishable that if a judge doesn't convict somebody. I think judges should even be able to be sued if they don't correctly judge somebody for the crime that they committed. I talked about this on the show before, but yeah, judges should easily be allowed to be sued. And before you go out and go, oh, but if we allow judges to be sued, the justice system will be flooded by people who sue the judges. No, because all you need to do is put a stipulation that says, if what the judge did caused you to get harmed. For example, if Bianca Ellis was charged or actually brought to the mental institute like she was supposed to be, she would not have stabbed the 3-year-old. So therefore, the parents of the child who died should be able to sue the judge, and the judge should be fired. He said he would not have done anything differently, even now knowing that Ellis was charged with aggravated murder of the toddler. He noted that the organization handling mental health evaluations had nobody available, and he thought it would be unjust for Ellis to sit in jail for days on a minor charge. No, it's not. That's called the law. That's how the law works. That's how the law is supposed to work. Even if you do something little, if it's illegal, you should get charged for that thing that's illegal. If you don't want to go to jail, you know what you could do? Not do the thing that's illegal. See, judges need to be a lot more heartless. And it sounds bad when you say it, but they need to be. Because when you have judges that aren't heartless, who have too much emotion, that get too invested in the victims and feel bad, oh, he feels bad for what he did. Yeah, he better feel bad for what he did, because it was terrible. I feel like judges are too soft now. We need judges to actually convict people of crimes that they committed. We need judges who aren't scared and don't feel bad for criminals that they convict. It's just stupid. So, this is Hagen's quote here. It says, "I am confident in the way the court handled the matter." Very poor choice of words, because someone died because of your crappy decision. We didn't we didn't buy the letter of the law. Or no, we did it by the letter of the law. There was nothing there to set up alarm. No, she's just committing crimes. Yeah, there's nothing alarming here. No criminal ever who's committed a small crime has ever gone off to commit bigger crimes much later. No, first-time criminals always commit big crimes their first time. What a stupid thing to think about, dude. Oh, this criminal, yeah, there's no alarm here. She's just committing crimes, you know. You know, a little off topic, you know what I hate? The ending of the God's Not Dead 3 movie. So, who's watched God's Not Dead 3? In the end there, when the guy in the beginning who got drunk and killed the one pastor, he threw a brick through the window and like it hit some pipe and the building caught on fire, and then he was like just not convicted of anything. That sucks. I hate that ending, because he should also be convicted. Oh, I feel bad. I don't care. Go to prison. He feels bad and he like changed his way. I get that, but you should still go to prison because you murdered somebody. That is a terrible, terrible ending. Just wanted to get that off my chest. There weren't any red flags shooting up at the pole, he said. Oh, really? There's no red flags. Oh, then you're free to go, sir. There's no red flags. Could you imagine, like, if a husband beats a wife and he goes to court for it, and then he's like, oh yeah, I feel really bad, I won't do it again. And the judge goes, well, no red flags here. You're free to go, sir. Could you imagine if the judge used that same logic? So stupid. Explaining that there were no signs of mental duress or distress, no signs of previous violent acts. Because as we all know, everyone has signs of violent acts before they commit a violent act for the first time. And that's a well-known fact. Everybody commits acts of violence before they commit acts of violence. It's a well-known... everyone knows that. Duh. You learn it in like first grade, I'm pretty sure. This stupid judge. But it has since been revealed that Ellis had a criminal record going back several months in 3 different states. She's been parkouring this, dude. You know the Mr. Beast video when he tied his shoe in like every state? She's like, I'm going to commit a crime in every state. And then laugh about it on TV. And she once even confessed to the cops that she had murdered someone and wanted to kill again. That's not concerning at all. No, it's not concerning at all that the judge did like little no research at all. In January, Ellis was arrested in Bakersfield, California on 3 counts of battery on a person for allegedly assaulting 3 people. No signs of mental distress, no signs of previous violent acts, you say. Oh my goodness. This judge is so bad. And someone died because this judge sucks at his job. And that's the thing I want to push forward, this message. This judge has literally admitted that he doesn't care. He doesn't feel bad for sucking at his job. He literally stood by his decision over this person not having a criminal record. Not having a criminal record isn't a justification to not go to jail. Because the justice system isn't whether or not you're going to commit a crime again. It's whether or not you committed a crime to begin with. If I murder one person and then I don't murder someone for the rest of my life, I should still go to prison for that murder. Because I've already committed the murder. That's how a fair and just justice system works. So stupid. I hate that. This judge should be fired. And I hope that the family can sue this judge. Probably won't happen because judges have way too much power in this country and get away with way too much. Moving on. So an LGBTQ activist beats up a father and a son together. Now this LGBTQ activist was wearing these like knuckle gloves. You know what I'm talking about? The ones with like the hard, what's the, like carbon fiber on it? I think that's what it is. Not sure of the exact material, but it's like the hard knuckle gloves. They're basically legal brass knuckles. If you really think about it, they're legal brass knuckles, legalized brass knuckles. So Real News Michiana, I think that's how you say that, has obtained video showing LGBTQ activists viciously beating a teenager as he attempts to call 911 to help his injured father. Love, the group of love and acceptance, everybody. They're so loving and accepting that they beat a teenager who's just trying to call 911 for his father, who was also attacked. By the way, this video, I'm not going to show it on the show because it's a lot. You can find it on Twitter if you want. But this guy was getting beat, and everyone in the street was just looking at him, like not even doing anything about it. So in my opinion, not only should the guy who beat up the kid should be arrested, but everybody there who didn't do anything should also be arrested for not doing anything. That is pathetic. The idea that you're not going to do anything to defend this child who's getting beat. Like the video and the photos are graphic, very graphic, dude. That guy had a ton of stitches. There's blood everywhere. There's a pool of blood on the ground where the guy got beat. So it's just, and no one decided to help this guy out. It's just so stupid. Everyone should go to prison. Every single one of them should go to prison. All of them. There's like 30 of them there. They could have easily stopped that one guy from beating a guy. Held him there. And then wait for the police to get there and arrest him. But they didn't, because the people of love and acceptance are not actually loving and accepting. The video was taken just after the teen's father, who was brutally attacked by another activist in front of the Well Coffee House in Mishawa Avenue. Why does every state have like these weird names? Like, I live in New York. I know we have weird names too, but holy smokes. As it was hosting the LGBTQ Center South Bend's annual drag show for kids on Friday. Drag show for kids, everybody. Let's go, dude. Dude, as we all know, children love watching dudes in thongs shake their nuts, dude. They love it. Kids love drag shows. Okay, they love them. Every kid should be mandated to go to a drag show, as we all know. That makes it worse, in my opinion, dude. These guys were beaten at a drag show. In the video, you can see an 18-year-old victim fighting to keep his phone from his hands, as a much larger masked man puts him in a headlock and punches him in the head and face multiple times. So here's my opinion. Okay, if you sexually assault somebody who's underage or physically assault somebody who's underage, death. You should get the death penalty. I don't care. Instantly. And fleeing the scene of the crime, death. That as well. As a victim, like that's so stupid. Why do we let people get away with all these crimes? Like, these crimes are the ones that we let people get away with. But, you know, if you're a 50-year-old who defends himself in a gang assault, or let's say you stopped a robbery from happening in New York City, prison. And you go to prison for months on end. Or I don't know, if your name's Andrew Tate, you just go to jail randomly. It's like the justice system in Romania has a dice that they roll, and if it happens to land on the number that day, their Tates go to prison. Like our justice system's screwed up, and we need to overhaul it indefinitely. And we need to hold the justice system to an actual standard that can't be moved. As the victim attempts to grab his phone from the ground, the assailant attacks the 18-year-old again. Okay, so it's not a child, so I retract my death sentence comment I just made. Eventually, another LGBTQ activist walks up and steals the phone. Whoa! So what we're getting here is that the group of love and acceptance is beating up a kid and stealing the kid's phone. I mean, how do we know? Actually, no. Actually, no. How do we know that they actually stole the phone? Perhaps the LGBTQ advocate was actually trying to take the phone to call 911 himself. I don't know. You can't prove that he didn't. Not yet, at least. No, that's messed up, though. Why are they doing that? This is why I hate... Like, in my opinion, if any rally or protest, I don't care. If you're out rallying and protesting for something like, I don't know, don't kill puppies, I'm automatically against you because you're protesting. Like, you could be protesting against cannibalism. And, you know, I will support cannibalism because you're protesting against it. I hate protests. I hate rallies. They're the most annoying things on the planet. Dude. Especially when these people are doing it. So according to the victim, the father, who RNM, I'm guessing that's the news station that published this, has decided not to name. The 18-year-old was able to get through to 911 dispatch. However, the activist disconnected the call when they got possession of the phone. So that should be a death penalty as well. To prevent a 911 call like that should be death. Like we should actually punish people for crimes. Like, why is this a thing? And everyone who was there that didn't stop this should also be charged. Like, this is stupid. So, Real News has not been able to identify the masked man who attacked the teenager. However, we have positively identified the two assailants who viciously beat the father. So this is where it gets interesting, right? So the person who beat the father are named Tori Moss and Tona Robinson. And these people are radical. Like, these are the most radical people you'll ever meet. So, they're both Antifa members, or they're friends with Antifa people, which is a big problem. And they post super racist things on Facebook. And they defame people, they gaslight people, they smear people. They post a lot of, like, cops being killed. They post about that all the time. Like, oh, the only good cop's a dead cop. Posts like that. And Robinson has, and her self-identified group of Antifa members, historically worked as what they called death escorts. So, and they would go outside of abortion clinics where people would protest, and they would assault people who were protesting against abortion, baby murdering. People who were against babies being murdered, they would assault those kind of people. And they even tried to run over a congresswoman. How they're not in prison already, kind of concerning. Trump has been convicted with 34 felony accounts, and these women are still free on the streets. Just like at a random coffee shop, just like hanging out. What's wrong with our system, dude? Following the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel this past October, where hundreds of women and children were murdered in their beds, Robinson joined Hamas supporters. For now on, if you support Hamas, you're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're an actual Nazi, because you're literally holding their exact views. Which Hamas's only goal is to wipe out the Jewish population. They've mentioned that multiple times. So if you like Hamas and you're like, oh, pro-Israel, let's go, or if you're pro-Palestine, like free Palestine, you're a Nazi. You're actually a Nazi. And you guys have proved it multiple times that you guys are. People who support Hamas in Palestine are Nazis. They're literal Nazis. And that's not even me saying it. They also say it. And so Robinson also openly said that she was happy about the innocent Jews being killed. So yeah, she's literally Adolf Hitler. And it's ironic because later on in the smear campaign, she posts a picture of a guy's shop, which it wasn't his shop, actually. It was something else. And said, this guy sells Nazi merchandise. Like, this guy's bad. This guy's a bad person. He sells Nazi merchandise. She posted it on her Facebook. Yet, she thinks that it's okay that innocent Jews are being killed. She literally said that they're openly okay. They were openly happy about innocent Jews being killed. And then she's going to complain about somebody selling Nazi merchandise that he wasn't actually selling. And she knew that he wasn't actually selling it because she made it up. This is disgusting. People like this should go to prison. Like, this is just annoying how people like this are not in prison. All right, moving on to our last thing of the day. So, William Thomas. I'm going to call William Thomas. Because that's the name on the birth certificate. For those of you who don't know, William Thomas is Leah Thomas's dead name. And because I'm based and I'm a transphobe, we're going to call him Leah Thomas. Because, like I said, I'm a transphobe. At least according to the left. So, the Court of Abolition, I'm not going to say that word. I'm not even going to try. So, CAS, basically, has dismissed a challenge from the transgender swimmer Leah Thomas, who asked the Swiss-based court to reject a policy that would prevent her from competing in women's races at elite competitions. You know, because she shouldn't compete at women competitions because she is a dude. Okay, William Thomas is a dude. That is a dude. Moving on. In its ruling, which was published Wednesday, the panel of how do you even say that? Arbitrators? Arbitrators? I think it's arbitrators. Arbitrators? So the panel of arbitrators determined that Thomas did not have a standing to challenge the policy created by the Swimming's International Freedom or Federation, World Aquatics. The CAS panel found that for the time being, she was not eligible to compete in elite competitions through the World Aquatics or USA Swimming. So the policy does not apply to her. She is currently only entitled to compete in USA Swimming events that do not qualify as elite events. According to the arbitral award, Thomas is not the preliminary entry list for the U.S. Olympic swimming trials, which begin this weekend in Indianapolis ahead of the start of the Paris Olympics next month. An attorney for the swimmer did not immediately reply to an email seeking comment. Thomas competed in college at Penn State and in 2022 became the first openly transgender athlete to win the NCAA championship at the Division I level. That is a legacy right there. Imagine like going to your grandkids one day and going, you know what, Timmy? Let me sit you down. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story how I beat a bunch of women. Oh, how'd you do it, Grandpa? I chopped my dick off. That's how I did it. Oh my God. So stupid. Like, that is the worst. I think I would rather die than to have that title. Like, I would rather me be unknown for the rest of human history than to be the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA championship. That is probably the worst thing to be remembered as. I mean, no, being a pedophile is the worst thing to be labeled as, but that's probably like number 2. It's probably pedophile, first transgender athlete to win NCAA championship. So, moving on. So, this policy effectively banned transgender competitors from competing in men's or women's races at elite competitions, such as the Olympic Games or World Championships. It is discriminatory. So, this isn't really discriminatory, though, because it's not saying that no transgender people can compete. It's just saying that you had to be trans before you hit puberty. And you had to go through different things. Which Leah Thomas didn't turn trans until after college. Basically, William Thomas was not trans until he found out that he was a loser and he wasn't actually a good swimmer. So then he went, "Oh, I got an idea. I'm gonna chop my penis off, basically, and then I'm gonna become a girl, and then I'm gonna beat all the girls. That's how I'm gonna do it." And, it worked because people are stupid and people like things like that. But not for much longer. This has been a thing for a while now, though. A bunch of women, or a bunch of dudes, have been taking things from women. I saw a story a couple years ago in 2021. Or, yeah, probably 2022, actually. Where a transgender guy took the, what's it called? Prom queen prize. A dude took the prom queen prize because he was gay. And he fought through all these different garbage rules. Like, I couldn't wear mini skirts and belly shirts. The dude was, like, upset because there's a dress code at the school. World Aquatics said in a statement provided to USA Today Sports that it welcomed the CAS decision, calling it a major step forward in efforts to protect women's sports. Because for the longest time, and still to this day, women's sports are under attack. I made a video about that recently. Basically, the women's sports are pretty much over because Biden added to Title IX, which was a good thing, and then he added garbage to the Title IX, which made it terrible. Basically saying that you can't even, talk. You're not even allowed to talk about things. And you can't even tell a trans person that they're not a woman and things like that. The World Aquatics is dedicated to fostering an environment that promotes fairness, respect, and equal opportunities for athletes of all genders, and we reaffirm this pledge. The Federation said, our policies and practices are continuously evaluated to ensure they align with the core values which led the introduction of our open category. We remain committed to work collaboratively. I've never seen that word before. Collaboratively? That's a word? Collaboratively. I just learned something new. I did not know that was a word. Working collaboratively with a stakeholder to uphold these principles of inclusivity with aquatic sports and remain confident that our gender inclusion policy represents a fair approach. The Arbitral Award, which was dated Monday, only concerns Thomas standing to challenge the World Aquatics policy, not the legitimacy of the policy. Hold on, let me restart that. Not the legitimacy of the policy itself. The CAS panel said in its decision that it considered her eligibility first and separate as a bifurcated issue. Following a request from the International Federation, Thomas objected to World Aquatics' request, but the panel sided against her. So this is an epic win for women's sports. We're finally moving in the right direction. We're finally getting out of the garbage clown world that we've been living in for the longest time. We've lived in clown world for a long time, and we finally had enough, darn it. We're sick and tired of clown world. So anyway, that is going to be the end of my show. If you liked it, you can give it a like, comment, subscribe for more. And like I said at the beginning of the video, sign the petition at the link in the description below. RFK needs your help. He needs to debate. We need him on the stage. If we really care about democracy, we need him on the stage to debate. We cannot let Joe Biden win like this. We cannot let Joe Biden walk all over this, because if Joe Biden's going to do this to RFK, think about the future of this country. Every president is going to do this going forward. So please, whatever you do, sign that petition. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on Monday. Peace.